The silence of extinction. The Meridian Alliance Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Thalia Kexera of Helios 9 finished her desperate plea. 62 representatives from across the galaxy sat motionless, their varied physiologies, from crystalline to gaseous to pseudo-mammalian, all expressing the same emotion: pity. High Counselor Dravmore, his translucent skin rippling with bioluminescent patterns of caution, finally spoke. The Vexor Dominion has claimed the sickness sector as their expansion territory. To challenge them would trigger an interstellar war affecting hundreds of worlds. So you condemn my people to extinction. Thalia's voice remained steady despite the rage building inside her. 3 billion souls on Helios 9, and you write us off as an acceptable loss. We deeply regret, began Dravmore. Spare me your regrets, Thalia interrupted, her silver eyes flashing. The Alliance promised protection when we joined. We've contributed our quantum stabilization technology, our genetic archives, our cultural treasures, and we value those contributions, a reptilian counselor interjected. Evacuation corridors have been established for your essential personnel and knowledge keepers. Essential personnel? Thalia laughed bitterly. You mean those of us you still find useful. The rest can die. The council chamber erupted in uncomfortable murmurs. Thalia watched them from the petitioner's platform. These representatives of the most advanced civilizations in the known galaxy, unwilling to risk their comfortable existence for a colony world on the fringes. If the humans were still here, she began. The humans are extinct, Dravmore stated flatly. Their solar system was destroyed in the Helian Cascade 70 years ago. Whatever scattered remnants survived have disappeared into uncharted space. At least they stood against tyranny, Thalia said quietly. Unlike this council. She turned and walked from the chamber, her ceremonial robes of office trailing behind her. The Meridian Alliance had made its decision. Helios 9 stood alone against the Vexor Dominion, whose fleets had already conquered 3 neighboring systems. 3 days later, Thalia's ship emerged from hyperspace above Helios 9. The colony world spread beneath her, its twin continents like massive green lungs across the blue expanse of the global ocean. Orbital habitats and defense platforms circled the planet, pitifully few compared to what would be needed. Admiral Jorvan met her at the spaceport, his weathered face grim. Welcome home, Ambassador. I trust the Alliance provided the assistance we requested. The Alliance has abandoned us, Thalia replied, watching his expression fall. They've established evacuation corridors for essential personnel only. Jorvan's granite features hardened further, so they'll save a select few and sacrifice the rest. Classic Alliance. They walked in silence through the capital city of New Meridia. The streets were abnormally quiet. The population had already begun emergency preparations. Defense drills echoed from public announcement systems. Children were being moved to underground shelters. In the Planetary Defense Center, holographic displays showed the approaching Vexor fleet, nearly 200 warships strong, their distinctive arrowhead formations arranged in perfect attack configuration. 48 hours until they reach our outer system defenses, Jorvan reported to the assembled War Council. We have 27 combat-capable vessels and 32 orbital defense platforms. And the evacuation? Asked Governor Helix. At maximum capacity, our ships can evacuate perhaps 7% of the population. Jorvan replied. Priority given to children, medical specialists, and cultural knowledge keepers. 7%, echoed Thalia. While the Alliance watches from a safe distance. They abandoned Earth too, when the Helian Cascade threatened the central systems, said Jorvan. History repeating itself. One of the sensor officers suddenly straightened at her station. Admiral, we're detecting unknown signatures at the system edge. They don't match any Alliance or Vexor configurations. Pirates. Jorvan moved to her station. Raiders taking advantage of our situation. No, sir. These are massive. Larger than any ships in our database. The main display shifted to show the edge of the Helios system, where space itself seemed to ripple and distort. One by one, enormous vessels emerged from what appeared to be self-generated wormholes, sleek, obsidian craft with no visible weapon mounts or engine nacelles. They simply appeared, their hulls absorbing rather than reflecting light, giving them an almost spectral appearance. "By the first stars," whispered Governor Helix, "there must be over 100 of them. They're arranging themselves between us and the approaching Vexor fleet," noted Jorvan, "but making no hostile moves toward either party." "Are they responding to communication attempts?" asked Thalia. "No, Ambassador. We've tried all standard frequencies and protocols." A junior communications officer raised her hand tentatively. "Ma'am, we're detecting an unusual signal pattern from the unknown vessels. It's using compression algorithms that haven't been seen in 70 years. "Meaning what, exactly?" Thalia asked. "It's human in origin, Ambassador." The command center fell silent. Human, a species believed extinct for 7 decades, wiped out when their home star destabilized in the Helian Cascade, destroying Earth and most of their colonies. The communications array suddenly activated on its own, bypassing the station's security protocols with ease. A voice filled the command center, deep, resonant, and unmistakably human. "Helios 9 Command, this is Admiral Helena Reyes of the Earth Reclamation Fleet. Your distress signals have been received. Stand by for Vexor engagement." Thalia stepped forward on instinct. "Admiral Reyes, this is Ambassador Thalia Kexra. Humanity is, we thought your species was, extinct." There was a hint of grim amusement in the voice, a convenient assumption for those who abandoned us. "We've been watching, waiting, building our strength in the darkness between stars." On the tactical display, the Vexor fleet had altered course, clearly detecting the newcomers. Their formation tightened, weapons systems powering up. "Admiral," Jorvan said cautiously, "the Vexor Dominion has nearly 200 warships approaching. Even with your impressive vessels, we're still outnumbered." "Numbers meant something in the old wars, Admiral Jorvan," Reyes replied, "before humanity was forced to evolve." The lead human vessel suddenly emitted a pulse of energy unlike anything Thalia had ever seen. Not a weapon discharge, but a rippling wave that spread outward like a stone dropped in still water. Where it touched the first line of Vexor ships, their systems simply failed. Vessels drifted powerless, weapons and engines dead. "Impossible," breathed Jorvan. "No EMP can penetrate Vexor shields." A second pulse followed, more focused than the first. It struck the Vexor command ship with surgical precision. The massive vessel didn't explode or break apart. It simply ceased to exist, leaving nothing but scattered particles where a warship carrying thousands had been moments before. The remaining Vexor ships began a chaotic retreat, but the human fleet moved with shocking speed, cutting off their escape routes. What followed wasn't a battle but an execution. With terrifying efficiency, the Earth Reclamation Fleet systematically eliminated every Vexor vessel, using weapons technologies that defied understanding. Within 30 minutes, it was over. Not a single Vexor ship remained. In the stunned silence that followed, the communications array activated once more. "Helios 9 Command," came Admiral Reyes' voice. "The immediate threat has been neutralized. Your people are safe." Thalia stepped forward, finding her voice with difficulty. "On behalf of Helios 9, I thank you for your intervention, Admiral. But I must ask, humanity has been absent from galactic affairs for decades. Why return now?" "Because unlike the Meridian Alliance," Reyes replied, "we do not abandon those who stand against tyranny." On the main view screen, one of the human vessels moved closer to the defense center, finally close enough to be seen clearly. Its hull bore no markings except for a single symbol, a phoenix rising from flames with Earth cradled in its wings. "The time has come," continued Reyes, "for humanity to emerge from the shadows." The reckoning. The planetary assembly hall of Helios 9 had never held so many people. Every seat was filled, and thousands more watched on screens throughout the colony as Admiral Helena Reyes stood before them. She was tall and lean, with dark skin and silver-streaked black hair pulled back in a tight braid. Her uniform was simple, a fitted black jumpsuit with that same phoenix emblem on her shoulder. No rank insignia, no decorations, no weapons visible. Yet power radiated from her like heat from a star. 70 years ago, she began, her voice carrying effortlessly through the hall. The Meridian Alliance abandoned Earth when the Hylian cascade threatened their central systems. They calculated that sacrificing one species was preferable to risking their trade routes. The crowd murmured. This version of history differed significantly from what the Alliance had taught for decades. The cascade was not a natural phenomenon. Rise continued, triggering gasps throughout the hall. It was a targeted strike, designed to eliminate humanity after we refused to surrender our independent colonies to Alliance control. Governor Hillock stepped forward. Admiral, are you suggesting the Alliance deliberately caused the destruction of Earth? Not the Alliance as a whole, Rise clarified. A faction within it. The same faction that now controls the Council and has allied secretly with the Vexor Dominion to expand their influence. She gestured, and a holographic display materialized above the assembly. It showed Earth's solar system as it had appeared before the catastrophe. 9 planets orbiting a stable yellow star. Then came the cascade, not a random stellar event, but a precisely calculated gravitational disruption that caused the sun to flare uncontrollably. We had warning, Rice said quietly, just enough to launch our Exodus fleet. 50 generation ships carrying 10 million humans into deep space. The Alliance declared us extinct, and we let them believe it. We needed time. Time for what? Asked Thalia. To evolve. Rise nodded to someone off stage, and a second human stepped forward. He appeared ordinary at first glance, middle-aged with kind eyes and a scholar's bearing. But as he moved, the light caught his skin strangely, revealing an almost metallic sheen beneath the surface. This is Dr. Elias Chen, our Chief Science Director, Rise introduced him. He'll explain what humanity has become in our absence. Dr. Chen smiled gently. When facing extinction, life adapts. Humanity had always feared the integration of technology and biology. We called it transhumanism, and debated its ethics for centuries. Facing oblivion, such debates became luxury we could no longer afford. He rolled up his sleeve, revealing an arm that shifted seamlessly between flesh and advanced technology. Not cybernetics as the galaxy understood them, but something far more integrated. We began with medical necessities, neural interfaces to manage the psychological trauma of witnessing Earth's destruction, nanite colonies to repair radiation damage, biomechanical organs to replace failing ones. By the 3rd generation in exile, the line between human and machine had blurred. By the 5th, it disappeared entirely. Murmurs of unease rippled through the assembly. Many species had experimented with cybernetics, but none had achieved this level of seamless integration. We are still human, Chen emphasized, sensing their discomfort. We still love, grieve, hope, dream. We've simply transcended certain biological limitations and gained certain advantages, added Reyes. The technology you witnessed against the Vexor fleet is a direct result of our evolution. We call it the null wave. It disrupts the quantum foundation of matter itself, reducing targeted systems to their component particles. Which you intend to use against the Alliance? Governor Helix asked cautiously. Against those who betrayed us and now betray you, Rice corrected. Not against innocent worlds who simply followed their leadership. Tactical displays activated, showing the current disposition of human forces throughout the galaxy, far more extensive than anyone had imagined. While the Alliance believed humanity extinct, they had established hidden outposts in unclaimed systems, built shipyards inside gas giants, and placed sleeper agents on key worlds. The Vexor Dominion was merely a proxy, explained Rice. a tool used by Alliance leaders to eliminate problematic colony worlds like yours that asked too many questions or developed too much independence. The same strategy they used against Earth, Philia realized. Precisely. But now the game has changed. 3 days later, the Meridian Alliance Council chamber descended into chaos as massive human vessels appeared simultaneously above 37 Alliance worlds, including the capital planet, Centralis Prime. No weapons were fired, no threats issued. The ships simply appeared, silent and watchful. On Centralis, High Counselor Dravmore was escorted under guard to his own communication chamber. The screens activated to show Admiral Reyes and Ambassador Thalia standing side by side. What is the meaning of this? Dravmore demanded, his skin pulsing with patterns of outrage. This is an act of war against the Alliance. No, Counselor, Reyes replied calmly. This is justice for Earth, and for Helios 9, and for every world your faction has sacrificed for power. My faction? I don't know what. We have the records, Dravmore, interrupted Thalia. The humans provided them. Communications between you and Vexor commanders, arranging for the conquest of worlds that oppose your policies, including my own. Dravmore's bioluminescence dimmed as he realized the extent of what they knew. The old alliance ends today, Reyes stated flatly. A new coalition will rise, one based on mutual defense and actual adherence to its principles. You and your co-conspirators will face justice on Centralis. You cannot simply, Dravmore began. We already have, interrupted Reyes. Check your communication systems. Every world in the Alliance is receiving proof of your collusion with the Vexor. Your security forces are standing down. The transition is already underway. The final confrontation came 3 weeks later, when the remaining Vexor fleet, nearly 500 vessels strong, emerged from hyperspace near the former Earth solar system. They had expected to rendezvous with their Alliance conspirators. Instead, they found the Earth reclamation fleet waiting. The battle was observed by representatives from every major world, transmitted live across the galaxy. It lasted less than an hour. The human vessels, moving with impossible precision, systematically disabled the Vexor ships using increasingly refined applications of their null-wave technology. Some vessels were completely atomized, others merely disabled and captured. When it ended, Admiral Reyes addressed the galaxy. For 70 years, humanity withdrew from galactic affairs, believed extinct by those who abandoned us. We used that time to transform ourselves, to evolve beyond what we had been. Today marks our return. She paused, her image broadcasting to trillions across thousands of worlds. We come not as conquerors, but as guardians. The new coalition forms today, open to all worlds who wish to join, premised on mutual defense and genuine cooperation. No world will ever again be sacrificed as acceptable losses for political expediency. On Helios 9, Thalia watched the broadcast from the newly established coalition embassy. Beside her stood Dr. Chen, who had remained as humanity's representative to her world. Your people could rule the galaxy now, she observed. With your technology, no one could stop you. Chen smiled that same gentle smile. That was never our goal. Domination is the path that led to Earth's destruction. We seek something more difficult. Genuine partnership among equals, even though we're not evolved as you are. Evolution takes many forms, Ambassador, Chen replied. Ours was forced by catastrophe. Yours may come through cooperation and shared knowledge. He gestured to the night sky visible through the embassy windows, where the modified phoenix emblem of the new coalition now shone as a constellation created by orbiting satellites, a phoenix rising, but now with multiple worlds cradled in its wings. The galaxy left humanity behind, Chen said quietly. But we never abandoned our humanity. That, more than any technology, is what brought us back from extinction. In the darkness of space, the Earth Reclamation Fleet continued its silent vigil. Guardians at the edge of explored space, a promise kept to a lost world. Humanity had returned from the shadows, bringing with them not vengeance, but the very thing the galaxy had forsaken: hope. The end.